The annual Spartan. I'm going to review it in 5 categories. Exterior quality, interior quality, functionality, the cockpit experience, lighting. So let's start with the exterior. My first impression, it's silhouette. It looks nice. I think the wheels are a bit too big, but proportionally, it's not that bad. It's just the whole vehicle, I think, is a bit too large. And it will become apparent when you stand close to it. I like the front glass. It should be a bit flatter. It should have a bit of a flatter nose. I think it's a bit too pointy. Should have gone up to here. Because it just eats up space in the front. For no reason other than that, having the dashboard lean more forward. As you can see, the tires are a bit too large, as the whole vehicle is. You can see here, female character about 1.70 m tall. So the tires about 1.90 m. Also, the polygons are a bit weak on this one. You see here, you can see the edges, that's bad. Tire texture. The head's a bit too low res and too dirty. Now, a general problem I have with many ships in this game, the texture quality in this game is really bad when it comes to metal. Because metal and plastics always look the same in this game. It's already something I do not like. As you can see here, not sure if that's metal or plastic. I can't actually tell from the way it reflects. It appears they use the same material. By the same material, I mean the same reflectivity, the same appearance when it's lit. Almost everything in here. I mean, so texture artists probably got lazy and just didn't want to have new materials used and just slapped it on most parts. The lamp looks nice. Nice logo, nice material to it. I like the frosting on the glass. So the canopy of the cockpit already I really do like. Now the vehicle has 3 entrances. It's one on each side like this and one on the backside ramp. Oh, I'm liking those. That detail looks nice. Oh, the frosting on that glass, it looks a bit too much like stone. You can see here, when they get lazy with the materials, notice here, that thing is the same material as that, as the rivets. Like, they just got really lazy and wanted to get done with it and just slapped the same texture and everything. That's not good. Oh, rear hatch, interesting detail. You can see here, there's some better material definition against the light. But it all has the same, like it's all made out of the same material, even that one, just a different color to it. And it's lacking some polygons. You can see here the round parts don't feel very round. Not sure what those pieces are. It's probably just decoration. The ladders will eventually be functional, they said. So let's first check out this side ramp. It doesn't have a door panel, which I find slightly disappointing. And again, the metal texture is really bad on this one here. Animation is nice and slow. However, there's 2 problems with that flip-out door. First one is the support structure for the flip-out is really flimsy. And the second one, it's way too long. Look at this. It's like, this is my character. Zoom out a bit. That's almost a 3 meter long, yeah, it's more than a 3 meter long ramp, I would say. Which means it leads to the problem, if you're parking this really close to a wall, you can't open that door. Which means you need 3 meters clearance to the sides to open the door to get out of it. And I think they just got lazy because it's easier for them to animate and flip out the door like this than having complex door mechanisms with hinges on the side where you can open 2 shorter doors that open to the side, which I think most APCs do like this in real life. And even if they have ramps, they're usually much shorter than that. But I think it's easier for the pathfinding for the AI to get into that. So that's already really lazy, I think. And then we got the rear ramp. There's the opening for this one. Oh, I think it's that part over here. Again, the same problem. The ramp is too long, as I said earlier. Okay, so let's get into the vehicle. Again, bad reflectivity over here. Now this is the lighting when the vehicle is, the power is on, but the engine is out, because I activated it earlier. Okay, what's my impression here? I think it's too roomy. That vehicle could be a third smaller and all dimensions would still work as an APC. I think it's too big, but it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think it's too much. And the problem is they don't know what to fill in that room. They could fill twice the amount of seats into it right now with that space. By removing some of that part behind it, moving back behind. Texture quality is mediocre. That's unfortunately the same for all animal ships right now. They don't reach the quality of the, what do you call it, the Starlifter. Okay, let's see the materials on the ground. Let's go on prone. Yeah, really bad, smeared, greasy metal. Not good. Like, that's hideously bad compared to the Crusader Starlifter. Okay, what I also really do not like is, you see those grids on the ground? They would look nice on the ground. Okay, they have grids. Now here, notice they have the same grids up here. Again, probably the artist got lazy. They know, okay, I already have the grid parts over here. Let's just slap them in here instead of modeling a proper small window into it. That's just pure laziness. You also see that on the 100i. If you have 100i, the button pads on the dashboard, they have the same texture as the buttons themselves, because they couldn't bring themselves to give the buttons a different texture than the dashboard around it. And even the numbers are obscure. The labeling on the buttons is almost unreadable because of it. And you have a similar problem on the mole, where the ground texture is like a black rubber, similar to this one. They use the same as a rubber padding on the table for where you put stuff. Okay, now I do like this, the green highlight here. Again, texture quality is bad, but I think the texture, the color selection is really good in animal ships. So about the lighting, notice here, there's a lot of lamps shining in your face, but it's still very dark in the ship. Because I think the lighting artist who's working on this one is not as good as the one working on the Crusader Starlifter, because you can see the difference here. A lot of small dotted lights, but no defined light sources where the light is coming from. Like, it's very busy in your face, always just blinking lights, but it's still too dark for it. Now, this would make sense as emergency lighting if you're in a plane and it's smoky and all that, but don't need it on the ground right now. So the interior structure is adequate, almost good, but the material definition is really bad in this one. Okay, and I'm not sure, that might be a component housing, doesn't open yet. Now they got lazy here with the door panels. I do like the door panels that they have a simple layout, not over stylized. However, as you can see, it can barely read what's on it because it's white on blooming white. Now you can open it over here. See, there's no proper rubber seals over here either. That's just lazy. And you can lock it, and you can change the lighting. Oh, you can't change the lighting because I think there's no lighting in this area. However, you can use that button over here. Change the lighting, presumably on this area. Let's close that again. Now, they shouldn't add those buttons over there if they don't function for that thing. Look at the component housing. That looks really nice. I like this part. Again, the lighting is bad. The material definition isn't good, but the color selection is really good. It's muted, it's green, it's dark. Again, weapon racks. The same problem here is the structure of the rack is good, but it's all the same super shiny reflective plastic, and everything is the same. Notice this, everything's the same. And the screws are too polished. And even that part is the same material. Notice that an entire thing is like made of the same material, like it was stamped out of it. I think that's a housing where you can put storage into it. Now the problem with that is, notice it takes you out of your character view and puts you in the third person view. And I think in this case, this gets in the way of the experience. I don't have a problem with the inventory opening and seeing my character from this angle. Only problem is with if you connect it with the box that you're opening, it takes out of the experience for some reason. Then we got component housings. Again, really bad metal texture over here. It's hideous, look at this. And it's greasy at the same time. Yeah, that's another housing. And this could also be one. Now with the cockpit area. It looks similar to Pisces or a Terrapin, I would say. That's kind of the tragedy about anvil ships. I think the concept artists who build up the structure, they're really good at their job. Like the struts look good, everything looks solid and functional. Well, when it comes to texture and lighting and modeling, there's some quality deficiencies in the team that's making the anvil ships. It doesn't reach the quality of Starlifters. I like this cavernous built-in area, but then again, I think the ship could be 1 meter narrower and it would still have room. I think it's a bit too roomy. And now let's go for the cockpit experience. Now cockpit. Let's look at the panels. I think the layout is good. You have the monitors so you can see. I like the struts. Those are really good looking struts. They're not like on the Carrack where they're just there to look stupid. They're actually like structurally functioning struts. Like they have to be there for a functional reason. That's a good thing. Now what I do not like is, again, why is that part scratched like this? That's like newbie texture artist experimenting with grunge. There needs to be a higher standard for quality in Star Citizen for that stuff. Here the Anvil aerospace is warped over the geometry. Look at this. It's warped over it so it fits onto it. I'm not sure if it's intentional or just texture stretching. Either way, it looks bad. Okay. Then what do we have here? This is where they get lazy on anvil ships. You have all those buttons and flippy things, but sometimes they don't make sense because where's that one button? There was one button that looked really out of place. I watched it earlier. Oh, here, thrust for TRHC, thrust. That thing doesn't have thrusters. It's a ground vehicle. So they couldn't bring themselves to replace that labeling because the ground vehicle is probably copied from a ship. So structurally, I think cockpit experience is good. Certainly better than any other ground vehicle in the game. If there's anything else I missed out on. Oh yeah, this is interesting. Notice here, if you are in this door auto closes. Now consider how silly this setup is. If you want to make the door locked so it remains locked, you can just click on it. However, if you get too close, you wait a moment. Oh wait, I want to press this button. Oh, it closes. I mean, imagine who builds a panel into a door that auto closes before you can reach it. Of course, in this game, you can use an UI from 2 or 3 meters distance. What I can do is I can press lock. However, last time I tried it, I bugged out and locked myself into the ship. So I'm not going to press it now. And there's currently no lock open button. Or maybe there is, or it's not working, I'm not sure. You can do lighting. Here's the problem, they got lazy with that door because it looks nice. Orange lighting. The problem is they got lazy with that door because that panel doesn't belong onto the door, it belongs next to the door. So you can operate the functions of the door when the door is open, because you can't reach the panel when the door is open if the panel is on the door, if that makes sense. I think I reviewed most pieces of it. It would be nice if they would have some extra bag holders, like a rack for ammo or for guns, but for backpacks. This would be really stupid if you can sit down with a backpack like this. So let's go to scoring. Okay. Animal Spartan, okay. Now exterior shape. What score should we give to exterior? I'm just consulting my numbers from the other ships I had. Now the exterior, I think it's good. For a ground vehicle, compared to spaceships, I'm torn between a 7 and the 8. And I'm just looking at the exterior structure. It's really solid, it's good, just from the form of it. I would give it an 8. However, the texture quality, the ship generally is so bad, I'm going to drag it down to a 7. So exterior is 7 out of 10. Now the interior looks. That's the structure of the interior. Well, functionally, Anvil is some of the better ships in the game. Or better vehicles or end ships. Because they have this functional military purpose type of look. Like, for example, the Valkyrie looks really beautiful on the inside, except for the texture and model quality. So the structural beauty of it is, I think, is really good. However, the material quality is mediocre at best, and the texture quality. So, so the interior gets a 6 out of 10. Because if the quality of the materials and the model geometry quality would be up there with the star lift, that would be easy between 9 and 10, I would say. But it's really texture quality that drags it down. Okay, now let's go for functionality. So what's really bad about functionality in this ship is, this vehicle, as I said, that the panel off the door is on the door. That's really stupid. And that should have been found in quality assurance. That is probably a bad idea. Because the first time a playtester wanted to press something on the door while it's open, he should have figured out, okay, wait a minute. That's really not a good idea. So, another functional issue is that they got lazy with the door ramps, 3 meters long, because so the eye can walk out easier, and so they can avoid having swing open doors. So that's a really lazy point, which, yeah, that really drags the quality down. I like the cavernous cockpit. I like the stout nose, and the canopy looks really beautiful in this one. Gun racks are near the pilot. You have storage, component racks. If they could make those into backpack racks, you can put a backpack in, it would be nice. And that place away is wasted space. So in terms of function, barely a 7 out of 10. I almost wanted to give it a 6, but because the door ramps are so lazy. Okay, now cockpit experience. I mean, it's one of the better ones. In terms of cockpit experience, it's... not sure. I really like the cockpit experience in those ships. On Anvil in general. But the texture quality drags the whole thing down, so... cockpit, I'll give it a... I wanted to give it a 6, but the canopy is so good, I'm giving it a 7. 7 out of 10. Okay, and what's the last one? The lighting. Okay, lighting is sort of tragic because they picked some good colors. By lighting, I include some of the way the textures look in the light and the color selection. I sort of combined it into the lighting. The problem with the lighting is that it's too spotty. It doesn't have any defined light sources. So I have the right instincts, but not good enough experience to make the lighting look good. So again, the Orson artists or the Starlifter artists do a way better job on this. In terms of lighting, yeah, 6 out of 10. Okay, now let's calculate the average. Okay, the final score is a 6.6. So this should conclude this review, and I hope it was fun to watch, and see you next time.